Hey, Ted here, and thanks again for joining me for another episode of Ted Zed. And today we're going to be talking about throttle bodies. Currently on the car, I'm running a Q45 Nissan throttle body. It's an actual OEM throttle body. A lot of people tend to use this because they associate OEM with very good quality. Now, it is a very great quality throttle body. It's very smooth. It does what it's supposed to do. However, it was never designed to be used with boost. So we're going to actually do some boost leak testing on this, and we'll see how much it holds. And as you can see from these pictures, at a simulated 20 to 30 psi, it did end up leaking around the TPS shaft. Now, we are not going to run the same test on this video of the Hypertune, but I will update with a future video. So as you can see from the pictures, this Q45 throttle body held up to between 20 and 30 psi, and it ended up leaking pretty bad. Now that's going to depend on whether it's been rebuilt, what kind of condition it's in. This was actually a pretty decent condition throttle body, and even if you do rebuild it, over time it's going to wear out. It's just the O-ring that kind of holds all the pressure in. Again, it wasn't designed to be used with boost. Now let's take a look at the Hypertune throttle body. And special shout out to Affinis Motorsports for getting this to me insanely fast. We're talking 2 days from Australia to Alabama. It was very well packaged. As you can see, the bubble wrap that was in there actually kept it from getting scratched up or scored. It came with a set of accessories as well. So the great thing about this throttle body, it does come in this nice polished finish. And just holding in your hand and taking a look at it, you can just tell the build quality of this thing is fantastic. So it does have Hypertune engraved on it. You also have this throttle cable bracket, which is adjustable, TPS bracket. This O-ring allows you to reuse to seal off and on the manifold. Then you're going to have your mounting hardware to the manifold and the mounting hardware for both the brackets. And now we're going to compare both the Q45 to the Hypertune throttle body. And as you can see, the bolt spacing is the same, 90mm flanges. But when you look at the overall throttle body, you can just tell that it's a completely different length and width. I mean, if you're looking to actually save some space in this engine bay, just looking at the throttle cable bracket alone is going to save you tons of space. The TPS side, now that's also something else that's really neat, is that you can actually orientate the TPS in different positions. So let's go back to the Hypertune throttle body and talk about some of the features that it has. So one thing that I really do like about this is the throttle cable bracket. It is actually adjustable, so if you don't like where it is, just pick it up and turn it. And the same thing goes for the TPS sensor. So you actually have this adapter and shaft adapter here, and you basically slide it and turn it to whatever position you need, and you can actually adjust where the TPS is going to be mounted. So overall, what I really like about this throttle body is that it's compact and it's modular. Now, as you can see, the Hypertune is on the car. Don't mind that it doesn't have the T-bolt clamp on there. I'm actually going to have to get a slightly bigger one than the one that was used on the Q45, just because it's a little bit thicker. Now, the one thing I really do love about this throttle body is that you can actually rotate this TPS. A lot of times these have kind of like some ugly features on them, but this one's facing down where it has one plug that's not being used and the other one's kind of hanging underneath. So it actually looks very slick. Now, the clearance that you have here is much more on the Q45 as I was showing you earlier. The Q45 clearance on the S30 body actually has probably about 1/8 of an inch, so it's not very much at all. Now with this one, you've got about 2 inches to the strut tower, so there's no issue with engine flex that this is even going to remotely touch. The finish, the overall quality, and the fact that it sails with a rubber O-ring behind it is very nice. And these sealed bearings, these actually rotate very smoothly. Alright, so we've compared the Q45 to the Hypertune throttle body, and the Q45 throttle body is not a bad option. If you don't plan on running a lot of boost, this throttle body might be fine for you. If you do plan on running a little bit more boost, or you're concerned about aesthetics or clearance issues, then the Hypertune throttle body is the way to go. I mean, it's a very good looking throttle body. Hypertune actually does have a very good reputation. They do have really good customer service. There was maybe a couple instances online on different forums where I found people having issues with them, but the company was very quick to remedy the issue. So if you have any questions on the Hypertune throttle body or the Q45 throttle body, feel free to leave them below in the comments. And I want to say a special thanks to Affinis Motorsports. Please go check them out. They have the best prices. They were very quick about getting me the throttle body for this video. So yeah, go give them a look and hit subscribe and like, and I'll have future videos for you. All right, thanks.